I want you to tell me a time when you've been preaching many years now. What was the hardest moment that you had to walk into and preach? What was?
Yeah, the hardest moment that I had to walk into and preach was the funeral for a husband, wife, and daughter. The husband came home and decided to shoot his wife, who was a member of our choir, shoot his daughter, who was a star basketball player at her high school, and then shoot himself. And they made the decision to have a triple funeral. So you can imagine, the husband's family sitting over here, angry because their assumption is that the wife drove their relative crazy. Otherwise, he'd never done that. If he had never married that woman, none of this would be. Because the wife's family is over here, mad at the husband because he killed their relative. The balcony of the church is full of kids who are the friends of the daughter. And these children think both parents are crazy and they're just mad. Now, it would have been somewhat less challenging if I had 3 different funerals, but all 3 caskets were there at the same time. Wow. And I had to preach to all 3 audiences at the same time and attempt to elevate them above their reality and experience the grace of God simultaneously. That was the most difficult moment of my preaching career.
So what did you preach?
Well, from a factual standpoint, I had to address the reality that no one really knows what happened. And let's not succumb to the rumors and the assumptions. None of us were there. And so none of us knows what happened. But this man who committed this heinous act was a man who had some redemptive qualities and features, and I had to remind people what they were. Yeah. This woman who sang in our choir and was a good mother had some redemptive qualities, and we celebrate that because the funeral was a celebration. This young woman whose life was cut too short. So we have 2 realities. We have the pain of the tragedy, but we have the opportunity to celebrate what there is to celebrate. And I forget what text I used. The complication was exacerbated by this. The older sister who escaped the tragedy was not in the house because she was visiting her boyfriend while her husband was in active duty.
Okay.
The conversation with him was more difficult than the eulogy.
Right, that's right, I got it.
Because on the one hand, we're happy that she's alive, but on the other hand, he wants to know, well, where were you at 2 o'clock in the morning? So that was difficult, and it speaks to the need to be very prayerful as a pastor and as a preacher, and to walk with people in their pain in a manner that exudes grace and mercy and not condemnation and certainty. It's all right to question God. Yeah. If we understood all of why God allows things to happen, we would be God. Right. That was the most difficult.